I guess fourth time is the charm. Fantastic Four First Steps. If we count the Corman version as one franchise, and the two films at the turn of the millennium, technically this is the fourth addition to the franchise. There was the Corman film in the 90s, which was only made to keep the brand or whatever under lock and key, and wasn't actually meant to be seen, even though a lot of people saw it, and it's considered a cult classic, I think, even though it's not very good. Then we had the two films with Jessica Alba as Invisible Girl, the late, great Julian McMahon as Dr. Doom, and the future Captain America as a Human Torch, who made a comeback, albeit briefly, in the new Deadpool and Wolverine movie. And I thought those films were good, but they weren't perfect. Then there was Fant Four Stick. Yeah. Fantastic with a 4 replacing the A. That was a disaster. It could have been good, but while I didn't mind the Storm siblings one being adopted, the other being black, as well as the father of one of them being black, that I didn't mind. But they just couldn't get Ben Grimm right. He was CGI, but not well made. And they made him naked for some reason. They couldn't give him some pants. And let's just say there were a lot of creative screw-ups there. It could have been good, but, well, let's not muddy the waters with what if. And then we come to the official Marvel franchise Fantastic Four film, First Steps. Basically, it takes place in an alternate 1960s where the genius Reed Richards has given them technology that's light years ahead of 2020's technology, but it has a retro feel. They have advanced stuff like supercomputers, but they use 1960s technology. It's basically that neo-retro thing that SF Debris would put in his science fiction if he were to put pen to paper. And I think it worked pretty well. It looked very comic bookish, but it felt grounded in reality. As for our heroes themselves, it took a while for me to get used to Ben Grimm's voice because I'm used to the guy from the two Turn of the Millennium films. He was good. But overall, I thought this CGI Ben Grimm was far better made than the one from Fant Four Stick. And he felt more like an adopted family member. The whole group felt like a proper family, not just roommates, like in the two movies. And then we get to Mr. Fantastic himself. I do wish the guy from Multiverse of Madness had come back, but honestly, Mr. Mandalorian over here did a pretty good job. At first, he felt like a team leader who wasn't always sure of himself, and then he went into full panicked dad mode, which I thought fit very well. There have been a lot of good and potentially bad candidates for Invisible Woman, Sue Storm, but the actress here, I think, did a pretty good job. And then Joe Quinn, famous for Stranger Things and The Quiet Place prequel, does a pretty decent job of playing a too sure of himself, but not in an obnoxious way, Johnny Storm. And I gotta say, not only did Mr. Fantastic and Invisible Woman come off as legit good parents, unsure of themselves, but at the same time willing to jump off the deep end, I found a very strong two dad vibe going on between Ben and Johnny. Like, if Mr. and Mrs. Fantastic were to suddenly leave or die, then the newest member of the family would be in good hands. Even though Ben and Johnny are just friends, and they would probably get girlfriends of their own. Incidentally, Ben had a subplot with a girl from his old neighborhood, which I hope goes further in a future film. Anywho, all four worked well off one another, and sorry for the earthquake. Anywho, and when the little one came on the scene, they honestly felt far more like a family. As for the villain, Galactus was finally done right. The actor who played him looked unbelievably awesome in full gear. And yes, he was heavily done with CGI, but I believe he also had a practical costume that they used for reference points. And honestly, while the Galactus from the Rise of the Silver Surfer film was an interesting change, he just didn't feel like Galactus, even though he technically had a sort of silhouette that you could see in a couple scenes. This Galactus is far better because he looks and feels like the one that I remember. As for the Silver Surfer herself, I grew up watching the Silver Surfer cartoon, and I thought he was portrayed amazingly in Rise of the Silver Surfer, and it took a little while for me to get used to the idea of Norrin Radd's girlfriend / wife being the Surfer, although I think that is accurate to one of the alternate reality comics. And honestly, she did an okay job. I'm wondering if she'll end up meeting a male Silver Surfer from an alternate reality at some point, because they are going to do a multiversal crossover. So who knows? We might get two surfers for the price of one. And the actress playing her did an okay job. She was good in the Wolfman movie, and while I haven't seen the movie Weapons, the actress, I think, does a pretty decent job with the material she's given. As for all the other characters, they populate the world very well. It's diverse, but not in your face. And honestly, the people in that world felt very organic. There was a scene where a mob mentality forms because they're afraid of something. Well, obviously they're afraid of Galactus. And it kind of holds up a mirror to how easily fear can take people to dark places. But it doesn't get preachy, you know? I could easily see this happening for good or ill in our world. And the solution is fairly believable. Now, as for the plot, basically it's Rise of the Silver Surfer, and the baby's coming, kind of. And both plots sort of collide in various ways. I'm not going to spoil it, but let's just say the newest Richards is definitely going to be a factor in future films. And the two plot lines do mesh pretty well. Although I think maybe the Surfer's turn from Dark Herald to ally of the Fantastic Four does come off as rather quick, though it is only a 2-hour movie, so they gotta keep things going quickly. Nothing feels rushed and nothing feels slow. There's good build-up, and the payoff is fairly satisfying. The effects look great. You know, the Surfer, Galactus, Ben Grimm, and this neo-retro future setup of this world looks unbelievable. And at one point they engage in hyperdrives, and I believe it's scientifically accurate to how the hyperdrive functions and how it would look. So that was a treat. Yeah, overall, the story, the effects, the cast, this is a good Fantastic Four film. I would put it on par with the ones from the turn of the millennium. I think it washes the bad taste of Fant4stick out of our mouths, and it, in my humble opinion, pays homage to the silliness of the '94 film that was never supposed to be seen, but keeping things legit and overall entertaining. So yeah, they did a good job, and I look forward to Avengers Doomsday and seeing these wonderful characters ride again. This is Mr. J signing out and reminding you, families fight. They're not perfect, and they never will be, but that's what's perfect about them. Families are perfectly imperfect. And it's not blood that's important, it's bond. So find your family and protect them, because you never know when a planet eater is going to show up. Cheers, folks. Be fantastic.